Hey guys, Chili B here again with a quick update on why you should not buy Ethlizards, at least for a few days. Apologies for the clickbaity title. There was a town hall earlier today, which I haven't had the chance to listen to yet, but when I do get to it, keep an eye out for a video on town hall updates as well. Again, this is not financial advice. That was a clickbait title. Don't confuse it with financial advice. Big message of this video is to stop trading, stop selling, stop buying Ethlizard NFTs from Tuesday the 28th of March 2023, 11 AM Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is actually already passed. So basically just stop buying Ethlizard NFTs. And we're doing that because there's a problem. Previously, marketplaces like OpenSea and Blur would facilitate trading of NFTs. And as part of that, it would also send royalties to the creators of the NFTs at the rate which the creators set. And then for us in Ethlizards, those royalties went into our treasury to fund our future runway. The problem is that recently, and I'm sure you guys know, Blur and OpenSea and other marketplaces that are like that have stopped honoring the royalties on NFTs. I don't think they've stopped it completely, but now they let the seller set the royalty fee they want to pay down to a minimum of 0.5%. And what that means is that Ethlizard is getting way less royalties, and that means our treasury is really suffering. And therefore, so are our long-term plans. The solution to this problem that the team's put together is to redeploy the V1 and V2 Ethlizard contracts. So the value and the function of the current Ethlizards V1 and V2 NFTs will be migrated to a new V1 and V2 NFT contract. And basically they'll look the same. The picture will be the same, the traits of your NFTs will be the same, everything will be the same. It won't look any different, except that now at a contract level, Ethlizards will be able to enforce royalties. I don't fully understand this, but from what I read, it sounds like it's not fully enforceable, but there is another mechanism that the team can take advantage of that OpenSea and Blur and those types of marketplaces are still actually honoring. And then on top of that, they're able to also block the NFTs for sale on marketplaces of our choosing. So the problem is marketplaces are not enforcing royalties. The solution is we can enforce those royalties to some degree on a contract level. And as with everything, it's just a trade-off. It's not a perfect solution where there's only positives. It's always positives and negatives. Positives are royalties will flow into the treasury again, and that means we've got more funding, we can expand the team, we can meet our goals, we've got a runway ahead of us. Negatives are there's probably going to be less sales because it just makes sense for flippers to flip projects that have the least royalties. So if our royalties are at like 5% or something and there's another project that's only at 0.5%, they will definitely be wanting to flip that other project. The only exception to that I can imagine is if Ethlizards becomes seriously huge and it has such high volume that's really easy to flip and they're making such big profits anyway, those few percentage points won't matter to them. But that, if it does happen, is a long way off. But less sales does mean less visibility, like we won't make it to the most traded projects on OpenSea or anything like that. And if OpenSea further locks down on what they're doing with royalties, Ethlizards might remove the project from OpenSea altogether, and then you lose a big chunk of the NFT marketplace. And then that leads to less brand awareness. So those are some pretty genuine and big dangers. But I think those are real dangers only for NFT projects with no utility, or where basically the only utility of holding an NFT is to sell the NFT later at a high price. But Ethlizards has genuine utility aside from holding it to sell it. As you guys know, I'm sure, the real utility of Ethlizards is to get it, stake it, and get a portion of the investment portfolio paid out when we take profits. You can check out my other videos to learn more about that if you're not too familiar. So in my estimation, the positives way outweigh the negatives. I think these negatives will not apply too heavily to projects like ours that have some real utility behind it. So what's the timeline on all of this? From the 28th of March, which is already passed, the team is going to begin redeploying the contract, and there's a whole bunch of technical stuff that goes along with that I don't fully understand. But basically, the team's working hard from this point. From the 30th of March, we get our new lizards airdropped into our wallets, and the old lizards will stay in our wallets as well, and they say to save those lizards because there's some possible utility for them in the future. We'll wait and see what happens there. Transfers for the new lizards will be totally disabled at that time, so you can't buy and sell and transfer or anything like that. And that's so the team can work with marketplaces to repoint everything to the new contracts and do all that sort of stuff. And also the team's going to manually work out any weird sales or anything that might have happened after the 28th of March because people weren't aware that they had to stop selling or whatever. Then, somewhere around the 2nd of April, so this isn't a firm date, but just an approximation, somewhere around the 2nd of April, the new collection goes live and everything returns back to normal. So we have to wait for the team to tell us when exactly that's going to be. But basically for us, from the 28th of March, do not buy, sell, transfer, do anything with your Ethlizards. Just let them sit in your wallet. On the 30th of March, you don't have to do anything. And on the 2nd of April, you don't have to do anything. Really, the team's taking care of everything that's complicated for us. All we have to do is sit and be patient and not touch our Ethlizards. And hopefully everything will turn out all right. And that's why you should not buy Ethlizards, at least for the next few days. If you liked that, please give me a like and subscribe.